same night Clay tore his ACL. Needless to say, as we officially say welcome from the court here at the Chase Center, the Warriors are bringing and welcoming all the good juju that these fans can bring here into the building tonight when they're let in just over an hour from now. And of course, we've got unprecedented courtside access. Kevin will be joined by Doris Burke in just a little bit. And of course, Brian Windhorst standing by with the latest on maybe an injury we sort of forgot about, that being Steph Curry.
Looking forward to that, Elle. You mentioned iconic. Also ahead in this program, is tonight the night we get an iconic game from Jason Tatum? We'll ask our Celtics reporter in moments, as it's now a 3-game series tied up at 2 apiece. Critical Game 5 as we are just under 2 hours away from the start on ABC. Warriors Celtics back and forth to make this a best of 3. Well, the Warriors hold the 10-1 record this postseason at the Chase Center, where Elle is standing by. But the Celtics have been a fantastic road team during these playoffs. And the trio of Steph, Clay, and Draymond, they won their 19th NBA Finals game together in Game 4 with another dub. They'd have the most finals wins by an all-NBA trio in the last 50 seasons. Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they've combined to score 1,077 points this postseason, the most by a duo, each 25 or younger in a single postseason in NBA history. They passed Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook in Game 4. The Warriors 3-1 in Game 5s under Steve Kerr, including the 2015 Finals when they won the NBA title. Teams to win Game 5 with this series tied at 2 go on to win the championship 73% of the time. And Elle setting the stage at Game 5 live courtside. Back to you, Elle.
That's right, Kevin. Brian Windhorst joins us again here on SportsCenter. Windy, when you joined me courtside in Boston, right ahead of Game 4, all the conversation was around Steph Curry and what to expect from his foot. And then he put up 43 points. You couldn't tell he had an injury at all. But what is Steve Kerr saying right now about how they're going to manage his workload?
They're still going to try to be disciplined about his minutes. Having said that, the 41 that he played in Game 4 was the most he's played in this whole postseason. Yeah. I have to tell you, in the fourth quarter, when Curry went to the bench early in that period, he just stood there and stared at Steve Kerr until he put him back into the game. So the difficulty is going to be that second half rest. He's going to play the whole first quarter and the whole third. He'll rest about half of the second quarter. How much can Steve Kerr give him in the fourth quarter? I believe Curry can squeeze out a couple more minutes in this series, and I believe he can actually squeeze out a couple more shots. So 26 shots in 41 minutes in Game 4. I think there's a possibility he could get up to 30 shots and up to 43 minutes if needed tonight, even though they don't want to do it.
I love that. Wendy giving us like a prop bet on what to watch for when it comes to Steph Curry. As you mentioned, that was the most minutes that he played. He sat those 3 minutes at the top of the fourth before he came back in. Kevin's got much more on the Celtics side of things.
Yeah, how about another star on the other side, and that is Jason Tatum, who has struggled with his shot so far in the finals, shooting 34% from the floor, his low for any series of his career. It's his misses inside the arc. That's what's troubling here. How about Tatum making just 27% of his two-pointers? That's the worst of any player in the last 40 finals. Tim Bontemps covers the Celtics and joins us now courtside on SportsCenter. Tim, so what is Tatum saying about his shooting struggles in this series, especially inside that three-point line?
Well, as you said, Kevin, 14 for 51 for Jason Tatum on two-point shots. That simply isn't going to get it done if the Boston Celtics want to win 2 of these 3 final games of this series and win an NBA title. And both Jason Tatum and Ime Udoka, Kevin, talked about the fact that Tatum is not going to the basket hard enough. He's been going off 1 foot to the rim in an attempt to draw fouls. But instead of drawing fouls, he's been missing shots, and that's been leading to breakouts on the other end for the Warriors. And as you guys laid out with Brian before, Stephen Curry has been incandescent in this series. He's making everything, and every open shot and transition he gets is death for the Celtics. So Jason Tatum, look for him to be going off 2 feet tonight, going to the rim, being a little more forceful, attacking the basket. And as he has said repeatedly, Kevin, since the end of Game 4, he has to be better. He's not putting more pressure on himself to be better. He simply says he has to live up to the standard that he and the Celtics have for him as their franchise player. Now, another key piece tonight, Kevin, is the status of Robert Williams. He is still questionable for tonight's game with this ongoing left knee soreness. He obviously left the end of Game 4 after it appeared he re-aggravated it again. Both Ime Udoka and Robert Williams said yesterday he was feeling pretty good. The expectations are he'll be in the starting lineup once again tonight for Game 5. But as we've said throughout this series, the key thing to watch with him is what his mobility looks like getting around on the court. If he's flying around early on in the game, that's a very good sign for Boston's chances of taking a 3-2 lead tonight.
He's averaged just under 24 minutes per game in this series, and every single minute he maximizes. Celtics have outscored the Warriors by 20 points when Williams is on the floor so far in this series. Tim, thank you so much. For much more, let's go back to Elle.
That's right, Kevin. Listen, these two teams right now, you could do a blind resume and you might not be able to tell them apart. You know the meme with the Spider-Mans when they're pointing at each other, right? The separation between them is marginal at best. Each have 2 wins, but their points, threes, boards, turnovers are all within a few ticks in the stat sheet. Game 5 crucial as the winner goes on to win it all 73% of the time in the finals when tied 2 games apiece. Speaking of crucial, Monica McNutt is always that as she joins us here courtside. Monica, you saw the numbers right there. We're taking a look at Jordan Poole, who's warming up right now, just took to the court. What's going to be the deciding factor, right, between two teams who are so evenly matched?
Well, I have the privilege of working alongside PJ Carlissimo and Doris Burke on our radio broadcast, and we were kind of bantering this around yesterday, and I was like, is it turnovers? No, it's not always been turnovers, but PJ actually pointed to points in the paint, and not actually just the scoring, but the activity that's been created in the paint. When you look, 4 games so far, the team that has won the battle in the paint has won the game, ultimately. Now, of course, there's some breakdowns there, second chance and fast break opportunities, and the numbers get a little bit wonky there. But in terms of totality, the team that is able to find more activity in the paint, whether it be those offensive rebounds, whether it be attacking the defensive holes and finding ways to attack, seems to have a slight advantage. I don't know if that holds today. Steph coming off of a crazy performance, and both of these teams have the ability to knock down the 3, but that is a little bit of a place where we've been able to find some differentiation.
Yeah, there's also been a struggle to, specifically with Draymond Green, to sort of figure out which Draymond is going to show up. And I want you to take a look at some of his numbers through this series right now. He's certainly been enigmatic. We've used that, right, to describe Draymond and Steve Kerr using him in the rotation. He has more fouls than points. He's shooting historically bad from the field. Golden State is getting outscored by 30 with him on the court in the fourth quarter. They do need his passing, though. He leads the team in assists, and his passes have led to 32 buckets, which is nearly double any other Warrior. So I have to ask the question, Monica, is Draymond more of an asset or a liability for his team?
We got a lot of big words in this segment. Enigmatic is just a fancy way of saying puzzling for the folks at home. Liability or asset? I think liability is entirely too strong. We cannot discount championship DNA, which when I asked Steph Curry for a definition of that, he talked about the collective experience. The Warriors have been here, done this. So no, I'm not going to say he's a liability at all. He's still an asset. Does Draymond need to focus in a little bit more and figure out exactly where he fits in this matchup with the Boston Celtics squad that has bigs that can play both small and large and can match up with his speed and athleticism? Yes, but 23 assists, leading assists, right? He's contributed to 31 points, which I believe is the second highest on the team outside of Steph Curry. So no, not at all is he a liability. Now, this is where coaching and trust becomes a thing for a team with such tremendous experience. If he is on the bench in what seems to be crucial moments, then shout out to Steve Kerr for making the right call and figuring out the enigma that is Draymond Green's playing time. He's not a liability. He is an asset. Might his minutes change and look a little bit different from what we've seen in the regular season? Yeah, but that does not make him a liability.
After Game 4, we saw even Draymond's mom take to social media and go, I don't know what's going on with him either. Part of the puzzling sort of thing with Draymond as well. His plus minus and even 0 after Game 4. We'll certainly see what he's going to do tonight. After being public enemy number 1, I imagine he welcomes this Warriors crowd. Monica McNutt, you're always welcome on SportsCenter. Kevin?
Well, thank you so much. Ahead, the NBA Countdown crew is back, and they're going to have that guy, Jordan Poole, working a sweat pregame. He's going to join Countdown, a live interview with the emerging